And Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favour, drop me off in Rotherham.
Welcome everybody back. Welcome back to New York Talk, the Rotherham United podcast, still the number one Rotherham United podcast around. And it's time to look ahead to Saturday and a trip back to New York Stadium. Wigan Athletic coming to town as we hope to get the season back on track. We'll cover the new signing. We'll cover some injuries. We'll cover anything we can find. If you've got any questions you want us to answer, put them in the comments and I'm sure we'll be able to get through them in the next hour or so. Mick's with us from everybody's favourite location. Where are you, Mick?
I'm outside the co-op in North Wales in a car park. It's very beautiful.
Is it?
Well, it's not actually. It's just a car park. But
yeah.
That was very passive-aggressive, by the way. I just thought I'd have that in there, but in your intro there.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I'm a big fan.
Scott's with us now. Scott making a debut tonight. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm very good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you aboard. Danny's back currently. Danny's currently with us, should I say. Wi-Fi is okay as it stands. How's it going, Danny?
We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I'm here. So far, so good. Let's talk all things Millers.
Working. That's a good start. Joy sporting the new third kit this season. Joy's back with us. How you doing, Joy?
I'm very well, thank you. And this is very, very nice. I think it's my favourite.
It's a banger, Joy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It might be the best away kit we've had in quite some time, I think. I think
just,
it's up there.
You don't get the quality of the little pictures underneath, if that makes sense.
I don't know what you mean. Yeah, absolutely. Loads be with us. Martin Holland. Paula Rhodes says, good evening. Looks like Linney will be out for at least 3 matches. We're going to miss him. We are. We'll talk about that. YouTube users with us, as is Chris Page. Terry Fimmer says, evening, everybody. Don't shoot the sheriff. Kenneth Forbes, hi all. Looking forward to seeing all how these young players develop. John Hensby with us. Graham Sherwin's with us from the Tassie Miller. Stephen Gauntley, Darren Cook, Richard, Jimmy Wilkinson, Lisa Ball is all with us. Gordon Grant says, you look a Bobby Dazzler in that kit, Joy.
Thank you.
Let's start with the signing, Mick. And I don't know why I'm starting with you, Mick, because I don't think you know anything about him. But what's your thoughts on Martin Sherif, signed on whatever it was, Tuesday, I think it was. 19-year-old kid from Everton, 6'3", meant to be quick, is big. He's desperately needed, just for a pair of legs. He's desperately needed, but he seems like he ticks a few other boxes as well.
Yeah, he certainly does, doesn't he? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, what he's going to be like. I would suggest he's probably going to get eased into this at 19 years old. It's a big step up from, I would think, from the level that he's been playing at. But yeah, it's another one of those young, hungry players, isn't it? And it gives people something to moan about when we don't win, because shouldn't be playing young'uns, should be buying experienced players, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We can, as you rightly said there, nobody really knows a great deal about the lad. Obviously, given his age, but I like it. I do like this kind of signing, because some of these turn out to be absolute gems, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And Nick was saying he's only just turned 19 as well. RUFC OK says good singer as well. Everybody's seen. We were talking about before we started going, Scott. He was singing in his pre-match presser. I'm a big fan of that kind of confidence, and because you often see when he's interviewed with the club originally, I thought he seems really quiet and a bit timid. And then he comes out and starts singing. That's the kind of guy we need, that confidence and that energy.
Yeah, it were really surprising, weren't it, to kind of listen to a player that's come from a Premier League team where usually everything's PR'd to the max, and kind of just, I've never had so much confidence when saying, what do you bring? And straight away it were goals. And yeah, I mean, 19, 6'3" from a Premier League team on loan. I don't think we can really be looking at, for a loan signing, anything better than that. And his stats in the under-18s and under-21s are really good. I appreciate that. There's a massive step between youth football and League One, but yeah, I'm excited for it, to be fair.
Yeah, no, we all want that proven. We all want that Sam Numby coming back. We all want that kind of striker signing, but we've got to be realistic about it. And he was, I think, it was Everton's under-21s top scorer last season. He talked in the club interview earlier in the week about wanting to be the top scorer at this club, and when he goes to his next club, he wants to be the top scorer at that club. And that he's got that. He seems to have that classic strikers mentality. I don't care. I just want to score, and I really like that.
Yeah, he's definitely got that striker's confidence, doesn't he? And other than Nombe, it feels like that's something we've lacked up top for quite a while, that proper striker's confidence. And I'm just having a look at Lewis Finney's thread of tweets, that's hard to say after you've had a beer, on Sherif, just to like get us in the mood for it. Yeah, Everton under 21s, 26 games, 10 goals, 1 assist. Under 18s level, it gets even better. Same for overall under 18s level. Had a little spell in the EFL Trophy as well. So he has played, if you like, against senior opposition. But no, I'm quite excited to see what he can do. It feels like he's the perfect thing we need at the minute. That young, hungry player that I'm sure he's trying to build into the team. But it feels like he's got it in bags and bags worth, and hopefully he does bag a few as well. I don't think he'll just be chucked straight into the deep end against Wigan. I don't think he's going to start, but he'll certainly come on earlier than we've been making subs, I reckon. And I think he'll just hit the ground running. I've not had this much confidence in a young player for a while, but just having a look at what Paul Davis said earlier, 10 other clubs were after him, and it were our Zoom call that sold him to us on personal reasons anyway. And yeah, let's see what he can do. I'm very, very excited for this player.
Yeah, and we're very wary of watching YouTube clips, Joy, especially of youngsters, because we know how different the youth game is. But there was all different kinds of goals in there. There was shots from distance. There was goals from 2 yards out. There was ones where he was one-on-one with the keeper. I was sitting there watching it, and when I watched it, I think it just looks like a bit like Sam Numby, maybe a bit taller, but Numby also scores all different kinds of goals. So hopefully, if he's in similar mould, but maybe a bit taller, maybe a bit more physicality, when Numby does get back for it, whenever that might be, we might have a couple of 2 exciting players, maybe.
I mean, this is it, isn't it? You've got to admire the lad's confidence as well in his abilities. I mean, those different types of goals that he's taken, he's not lacking, is he? So that's a win-win, isn't it? As far as I'm concerned, whether he starts on the bench or he's introduced slowly or he's thrown in at the deep end. We'll see. We will see. I mean, we're hardly, inundated with bodies, are we, at the moment? And we've only got Hugel at the moment, who's a recognised striker, McGuckin. So, I mean, what's the difference between starting him and McGuckin, if you understand my logic there?
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think you're right. Yeah, exactly. McGuckin started against Salford, didn't he? It's with the Cup next week. I think if he doesn't start Saturday, he'll definitely start Tuesday, I would have thought, Sherif, although we'll come on to the Wigan game in a minute. Neil in the comments says strikers are rarely prolific until their mid-20s when they learn to relax in front of goal. Alfred Smith coming to mind with that. That said, if he was prolific, he wouldn't be here. No, exactly. We don't sign the finished product. When last time I signed a finished product. But yeah, that's exciting. There's no more business has to come yet. Maham just talked up more business. He said he definitely wants a centre back. It depends on outgoings and incomings. That's what will become more clear over the next week to 10 days. But one bit of news we do have, Mick, which may speed up any other transfer news, is the news of Lenny Agbert picking up severe bone bruising, which I seem to remember Sean Raggett having the same problem last year, severe bone bruising. Between 2 weeks and 2 months or something like that is what Matt Hamshaw said, Mick. And that's a blow for him. Obviously, based on how he started, so it's an even bigger blow for the team. Yeah,
it's not disastrous, but it's not far off, is it? The way he's been playing and the impact that he's had on the team. And we've got no central defenders who are anywhere near him at the moment, and he's only 20 years old. Not even close, You would have hoped that Zach Jules would have been a little bit further on this season than he has been. We've talked about Sean Raggett anyway. He's not that kind of player. and we haven't got anybody else realistically. So it's not great. It's not great news at all. Hopefully, it doesn't impact him when he does come back. It doesn't impact him psychologically as well, which these injuries can do, particularly players of that age. So it's not good news at all. Is that not at all? Did he? I assume he picked that injury up in the game at Cardiff rather than.
Yeah, it wasn't his
something-
hamstring, as I'm sure said. It turned out the injury he picked up was the bone bruising.
Right, which would suggest it's an impact injury rather than rather than anything else. I don't know why I said that, because I don't know what that's got to do with it, but yeah, not good, not good. Some more not good news.
Yeah, yeah. It's been a season of bad news so far. But then it leaves us with problems. Josh Caswell says here that surely with Lenny injury can't play a back three, Sam, but it just risks further injury. But Rafa is back, and I know him and Raggett don't necessarily have the legs anywhere near that Lenny had, but we do have the option of a balance. What's your thoughts on the Lenny injury and the impact in the setup and formation for the next few weeks at least?
Sorry.
Yeah, mate, sorry.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed by the news with Lenny, because I think I've been really impressed to his start, to be honest, and I kind of agree with, I can't remember his name there, with the three at the back now, because I'm thinking it's more than likely going to be Rafferty, Raggett and Jules. And now I liked Jules last year, and I expected him to be a lot better this year, and I appreciate we're only 3-4 games into the season, but it just doesn't seem the same player at the minute. I do worry about a back three of Rafferty, Raggett and Jules, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's let's just stop. What did they say? 2 weeks to 2 months?
Something like that,
yeah. Yeah, well,
hopefully be a bit more vague with the next diagnosis they have from an injury. Yeah, a bit of a disaster there. Yeah, what's your take on it? Because I agree with Mick and Scott about the Zach Jules situations. The Zach Jules situations is probably as concerning as Lenny being injured. Because Zach, other than a Doffin, Jules was the defender last year where you hang your hat on and say, right, he's been really, really good. He was excellent in the air, excellent with his feet, was excellent everywhere. And the 3 games he's played this year, he's been a shadow of his former self. And I don't know if it's going to take time or whatever the case may be, but we need last season's Zach Jules back now more than ever.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate timing that he's having his out of form period during our injury crisis period at the start of the season. But silver lining is at least it's now and not at crunch time in the season in March, April time. But we'll play that one by ear whenever that happens. But no, I can see where Josh is coming from with that, because just looking at the defenders we have got available, a back four may suit what we have better, because you could have Raggett and Jules as your middle two, Rafferty as your right back, and then potentially bringing in Reece James as your left back again. But then we've been building up to play with wing backs. So do we play more defensive against Wigan and bring the wing backs back, so it's more of a 5 at the back rather than your 3 and advanced wing backs? But then that invites pressure from Wigan. We won't have as much outlet through midfield, if any. So will we divulge in hoofball? That's not really what Hugel's about. He thrives on delivery from out wide. I imagine Sherif will be like that as well, with him being a big centre forward. So it's this is why I'm Amshore's manager and not me, but that sounds like a headache to try and navigate round. Yes, we've got home advantage. Will that play some part in it? Yeah. Will it be a massive part? Probably not. Because we are coming off the back of a fair drubbing at Cardiff. And I think we may have to approach it as we shut out rather than try and score. So I'm more in favour of the back 5 potentially, and we try and use the wing backs a lot more rather than converting to a back 4, which would be a change of system. I just think we need to just haul back the wing backs a little bit and pick and choose the moments against Wigan. I mean, granted, we've got the added benefit of not playing midweek with the Burton game being postponed, which I think is a blessing in disguise. Could have had a bit more recovery time, not as much use of our players, so they're a little bit fresher. So that could play into a favour as well. But just with what Trev said, that comment has just come in. It was still working a back three. They just needs a lot more defensive support from the wing backs.
Yeah. John, just to pick on John Phillips, and actually like five at the back, and does it work? I mean, we got promoted under Paul Warne with a 5-3-2 or a variation of 5-3-2. So it certainly does work. A Wigan, I think, will be playing that. If you stay around, the scan report will be live after we finish. Certainly, they're playing Joe Hungbo as a wing back, so they'll be playing fire at the back as well. So it's the 5-3-2 is kind of the modern thing that's in it at the minute, really. Josh Costa, I love Raf, but I wouldn't want to be centre back. I get that. Trev, like Dyson, people seem to be forgetting about Hall and Coletta. Both look great players. Hall's dual Rafferty would still work as a back three, in Trev's opinion, Joy. And I think that's right, because when Coletta came in, there was always, he's only 20-year-old and this, that, and the other, but he's come in and looked brilliant. Denzel Hall's looked really, really good. I won't be against either of those two playing together, one of them in a back three. I don't think that's the end of the world at all. I think it gives you benefits in certain areas.
And the thing is, we do have options now, which we've not had before, because we've got different kinds of players, haven't we? We've got your bog standard centre halves, your bog standard backs, and now your wing backs as well to add to that formula. Hall is being brought in, I think, as the new utility player, the new hacks, I suppose, for want of a better comparison. So I suspect it depends how they've been set up and how they've been performing during this week's training sessions. And I think that's where, having the Burton game postponed has probably worked to our advantage, that we've had more time to look at the options that are available to us, whether we go for a back three or a back five. So, like Danny said, I'm glad I'm not Hammy and the coaching staff, because I really honestly wouldn't know where to go. And I suppose it's horses for courses, and who's shown their best abilities this week in training, which we're not party to.
No, definitely not. I'd still like to stick with five at back. I'd like to see Martha as left wing back. Somebody mentioned James early struggling. We put Martha as left wing back. Let's just play him there. Again, we mentioned Wigan. If Joe Hungbo can play as wing back, I'm sure Martha can play as wing back as well. From what we've seen so far as Martha, I think they're very similar. So I'd like to see that, because it gives you that extra attacking edge in there. What's your view on the balance of that back? Well, 4 or 5. I mean, what do you see as balance, and what do you see as the plan going forward?
I think Harry's made a good point with Coletta and Hall. They will, because of the situation we're in, they will slot into one of those centre back positions, I would have thought, quite comfortably. Hall particularly, and I appreciate it's not ideal and it's not the position that you want to play them in, but nevertheless it gives you that pace and aggression in there, over and above arguably what Raf can offer as a centre back. So whilst it's not great, it's not a great situation, we have got, like Joyce said, we have got some cover there. So I'd love to see Coletta start. I'd maybe argue. I like the back five, and I would, or back three, whichever way you want to do it, 3-5-2, 5-3-2, whatever you want to call it. I'd be looking at Hall and Hall on the right hand side of a back three with Coletta as a right wing back. Frankly, I don't see we've got any option but to play Rafferty, which I don't think is ideal for all the reasons we've discussed previously. But I don't think we've got a choice.
Rafferty or Raggett?
Raggett. Apologies. But obviously Zach Jones on that left hand side of a three, and then whatever you want on the left hand side. I agree with what's been said about Reece James. I think he's been poor this season, but he is experienced. So it's not a great situation to be in. There's no doubt about it. And if he's able to add to that defensive line before the 1st of September, then that would be a massive boost for us.
Yeah, it would. Trevor 92 was saying Hall at centre back and Coletta at right wing back changed the game at Salford. Great attacking runs, and he was the brightest spark for the short spell he was on at Cardiff as well, with excellent Coletta when he came on. So I do wonder how close he is to getting his start. Although there is the game Tuesday in the cup, which might be earmarked for him. Tom Case says he feels sorry for Martha. Every game he seems to be shoved into a different position. We need young players to get a run in the same position to help them settle. Which is interesting, Scott, because I do agree to an extent, but we've brought Martha in as a bit of a play anywhere in a kind of forward position. He can play left wing, back, player striker, players winger. He just needs to play minutes, and I thought he has improved in a couple of games we've seen. But we need something different for me at left wing back, and that's why I think I'd like to see him there.
Yeah, I mean, I like the 3-5-2. I think you can play it either way. You can play it attacking or defensive. Obviously, we won promotion in League One, but we had Chio, and Mikael Miller or Shane Ferguson on left wing backs, which aren't known for the defensive. I suppose Shane Ferguson maybe, but it was an attacking 3-5-2. I think, like Joy says, we've got options now, so it depends how. I suppose Ame wants to attack this from the off. You've got, I've not seen much of them, but I would agree that I think Hall's out of Kalita and Hall's probably more defensive. Kalita looks more attacking, so there's that option. You could put Hall at right centre back, Kalita if you want to be more attacking, or Rafferty right centre back and Hall right wing back. And likewise on the left wing back, you've got James or Martha. So I think if we're going to go for it, Martha. It just needs to be on the pitch. I think he's the one player that just looks like he can create something out of nothing, and I think that's what we need. We don't really look like scoring at the minute, do we? So I think we need that kind of what's the word? Just unpredictability. Just somebody with a bit of confidence to do something, like try something.
Yeah, definitely. John Villa James was poor against Cardiff. He's defending at the corner for the first goal was awful. Josh Caswell says can't collect play left side. Pretty sure he did for Motherwell. James had a spell last season. It was okay last season, but he did have spells of poor performances. I'm convinced he needs some time out of the team, but I think it's a good opportunity at home against a team who struggle away from home. It's a really good opportunity to do something really aggressive. But we'll see. There is good injury news, though, Danny. Joe Powell and Sean McWilliams are back. Joe Powell's the big one, really, because he was a glaring hole. The Joe Powell hole last week was ridiculous. We had nobody to put the foot on the ball. I know Liam Kelly likes to do it, but he's not. It's just different to what Joe Powell does. And if we're going to be on front foot, as we expect to be at home, having Joe Powell back is going to be massive.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, just from watching the highlights of the Cardiff game, you could tell he wasn't there. We just couldn't get the game by the scruff of the neck at all and just take control of it. And Joe Powell does offer that. So, yeah, he's going to be a huge boost at home as well. Again, the Burton game being postponed, it's probably given Powell a chance to bed in, get to know his role as well. And then potentially, if he is wanting to start him, then we'll know what we're doing from the off rather than having to bring him in later in the game as well. So yeah, that's a big boost. McWilliams is another boost because, like Joy was alluding to earlier, we've got the options now. We've got depth. It doesn't feel like we've got depth, but we've got players who can fill different roles, and so we can come at Wigan whatever way we want to, really. But it does make you wonder what is Hampshire going to do with it. Is he going to try and get him with pace because we're the fresher team despite our injury woes at the minute, or is he going to bed in? And if Powell's back, potentially control midfield and actually get at him a little bit. So yeah, huge boost having him back.
Yeah. And Sean McWilliams is an interesting one, Joy, because at times last year he was the best player on the pitch. Like that spell in January where the team was brilliant, Sean McWilliams was a huge part of that. He hasn't started any of the games so far. There's occasional rumours of him leaving, to be honest with you. So what do you think on Sean McWilliams? Because I thought he'd be right up Matt Hampshire's street as a player. I'm surprised we haven't seen more of him.
I mean, I think last season was very stop-start for him, wasn't it? And he didn't really get that run until after Christmas, or just before Christmas and into the new year. And then he was out again. He seems again to be, if he's out there on the pitch and gets the game time, gets the minutes, he grows into the role, he delivers. But again, he's not had the time yet, so he'll be ring rusty, one assumes, and assuming he gets in, it's not clear from, though he's fit and with the group again, it doesn't sound like he's likely to start from reading between the lines with what Hampshire said in the presser. So I wouldn't expect to see him start on Saturday, to be honest.
No. Josh Goss says, remember against Bolton, he ran the show with Alex McDonald. I like him. Yeah, it was excellent at times last year, McWilliams. So we'll see what happens with there. With Joe Powell coming back, Mick, it then does add a question because the bright spark of the entire game was Dan Gore last week. It wasn't outstanding, but it was definitely the best player for us. But then you had Liam Kelly and Drew Yearwood together. So one of those is going to have to make way if you're bringing Joe Powell in. Which one of those is the one making way, assuming we are going to play the three in midfield?
I'm sorry to say it needs to be Liam Kelly at the moment. And I like Kelly a lot, but I just don't think he's made the impact that he's capable of so far this season. I think Yearwood is more aggressive in the tackle and he's better at breaking up play than Kelly. We've yet to see what his abilities like on the ball and his distribution, etc. But Powell can do that anyway as well. We do need that bite and that sort of fight in there. Gore plays a little bit further forward. So for me, I would be looking at Gore, Yearwood and Powell in that as a central three. I think it gives you the aggression, it gives you the creativity. That's what I would be looking for. I think Kelly got caught out of position far too many times last week. And when he wasn't out of position, he was kind of falling over Drew Yearwood. So, and he negated any impact that Yearwood had on the game as a result. So, that would be what I would look for with all my qualifications and footballing knowledge.
I agree, Scott. And I can't see any other player unless Williams is fit, which I don't think he is. I think right now Yearwood, Powell, and Gore is on paper the best midfield three, the most effective, and they each give something different. Not like Mick just said about Kelly stepping on Yearwood's toes. You're not going to get that necessarily with those three. I think they all give you something very different.
Yeah, definitely. I'd wrote like a little what my 11 would be, and my midfield three would have been Yearwood, Powell, and Gore. I just think, Kelly's had an amazing career, and he's had some games since he's been with us where you can see obviously why he's had the career he's had, but just at the minute he's not. I just feel like he slows us down a lot of the time. I think Yearwood has come in. He's got more legs to do the job that Kelly is there to do. I do like Kelly. He's always showing for the ball. He always wants the ball, but I think Powell does that as well. Even when Powell's having a bit of a nightmare and his set pieces aren't going for him, he never shies away from the ball. He's always wanting it, and I'm a big fan of Powell. I agree. I think that midfield three kind of gives you everything that you would want.
Paula Rhodes with. I said a few weeks ago, if there was bad news to be said, I'd like Paula to give it to me. She's giving us more bad news that I didn't want. Apparently, Gore's girlfriend is heavily pregnant, so he might be missing. So just ignore everything we've just said about Dan Gore playing. He's rubbish. We're not going to miss him if he's not playing. Don't worry about it, everybody. It'll be fine. We'll work it out without him. Josh Cobb said for me, I'd have Powell, Drew, and Gore as the attacking midfielder. Tom K, should be either or with Kelly or Yearwood. We can't play both because it doesn't work. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see properly what Yearwood's got, Danny. He does a lot of what Liam Kelly does, but he just it hasn't happened very often because he hasn't played very much. But occasionally, just that burst. He gets the ball and he bursts forward. It might be only 3 or 4 yards, 5 yards, but it just breaks that line and moves the ball to somewhere a bit more dangerous. And Kelly just can't do that anymore.
Yeah, and from a Yearwood's played in America for
3 years?
4 years. Yeah, and he's come straight back in and he's already said that he's loving the north of England. The people are a lot friendlier, so it's like, yep, happy days. But I agree. He seems to still be in his bedding in phase, I think, with Yearwood. But like you say, he has those, and we've seen it already. As those little sparks, like he'll play that dangerous ball or make the little run and get into space, and we're seeing it more and more as games go on, especially when in games where we've got control of the ball and actually improving in the game. And I think we'll just see more of that as the season progresses. Because if we're seeing it this early, then when we've sort of found our flow more, we should see it more consistently with him, and and I hope he builds on it very, very quickly. But now with Josh's comment earlier with Gore attacking midfielder, if everything's okay and there's no sudden the babies coming, then I agree. Gore is attacking midfielder because it gives him that bit of freedom in front of those two in midfield. And I think with Powell and Yearwood next to each other, they should have it by the scruff of the collar and control the midfield as much as we can with three of them. But if we're going to play in a three midfield as well, I'd back those three over anything else that we've got.
Yeah, and then the last question then becomes, Joy, what do we do about the strikers? Etete is having a late fitness test, so that says he's probably not going to start, which I think means Jordan Hugel's going to be there. Then it means, do you play Martha as a striker? Do you chuck McGuckin in? Do you chuck the Sherif in? What do you reckon as the potential front two? Or would you put another midfielder in and go kind of for a midfield with one attacker?
It's a bit Hobson's choice, isn't it, really? I think this is the hardest part of the team, isn't it?
I agree.
It's like Hugel's not fired, unfortunately. McGuckin didn't fire. Martha has, in bits, showed promise of firing. I don't know. I think I quite like the idea of Martha being a wing back as well. If Gore's not playing, he would be that attacking midfielder for me. But other than that, I mean, it's got to be Hugel because we've not got anybody else. And Etete, I don't know. I mean, I felt so sorry for him in that first game, running around like a headless chicken after sort of coming in the night before. It wasn't a very good start for him, and then he's injured and he can't play against Cardiff anyway. So we've not seen anything of him at all, really. I don't know. I honestly, I can't even put my hat in the ring and say whom, apart from possibly Hugill and Martha, but in what combination they're in, I don't know. No idea. Sorry.
We've talked about this at the beginning of the show, though. About Sherif, and from what we said here, arguably he's got no choice. It has no other choice but to start him on Saturday, realistically, depending on his sort of fitness levels, because there is nobody else, realistically. Anybody else that you're putting up there alongside Hugill, who has to start. Anybody else is a I don't know what the right word is. A misfit, essentially, as a striker. You're trying to spanner somebody in there. So there's a strong argument, I would suggest, to start the new lad.
I would. I'd start Sherif. Big ass, but he's been training since Monday or Tuesday, hasn't he? So he's had the training spell. So hopefully he should be up to speed. Paul's asking if there's any news on Spence or Benson. Spence early September. I think Matt Hamshaw said today. Benson, I haven't heard anything, sadly. Although I think it was semi-long term, weren't it? Was it 6 to 8 weeks, something? I think originally we said it. So Darren Cook says we need to get the Sherif in straight away. Jimmy Wilkinson says Sherif will be a good reception from the crowd and potentially make the atmosphere, which may pump up the players and get some intensity. John Fellows says Holmes gives you more traditional winger option, gets the ball into the box. We haven't mentioned Jack Holmes, to be fair. He's obviously an option. We're back at home, mate. We are still unbeaten under Matt Hamshaw at home altogether. Four games in a row unbeaten under Matt Hamshaw at New York Stadium. How different do you expect this to be to both Stevenage and Cardiff? Not in terms of anything else other than setup, really.
Performance levels is what I expect to be significantly higher than they've been in the last 3 games, if you include Salford in that. We're not, for the whole of the season, including the Port Vale game, our ability to keep the ball has been appalling. Really, really bad. As bad as I've seen for a while. And that I'm hoping that's where he's been working on. But we need a performance level. We need some intensity. We need to be moving the ball quickly when we've got it, and keeping hold of it when we've got it. I don't know what to expect. A first half performance against Port Vale for 90 minutes would be quite nice. We bossed that game in the first half. We set off with real intensity. We put them under pressure right from minute one, and we got the dividend from doing that in terms of the 2 goals. So we can do it. We know we can do it. But confidence has been hit, I would have thought, over the last few games. And it seems as the games have gone on, there's been less and less movement, off the ball movement, so that when we are in possession, the options for the player in possession are getting less and less. So we need to see an improvement in that department. For me, we've got to keep the ball. Just keep the ball. Let's focus on that to start with, and then get it into some dangerous areas, which is obviously more obvious than an obvious thing on obvious day, isn't it? But I'm sure that, well, we'll see. I don't know what to expect, to be honest. I guess given the last 3 years, I think we probably all expect much the same, because that's what we've been trained to do, trained to expect now, innit? You know, and that's not a criticism of the current regime at all. But yeah, I don't see it changing massively. Don't see it changing massively, but keep the ball, and when and second balls as well. That's the other thing. Sorry, I know we're on a bit now, but first half against Port Vale, we were winning virtually all those second balls. We were there, and we were winning the second balls. From the second half onwards, up till today, that's just been missing completely. So we need to revert back to how we kicked off the season.
Yeah, Phil says agree with Mick. Retention of the ball is key. The more possession we have, the more confidence will go. Yeah, of course, absolutely will. Just a few stats for you. Next, Jordan Hugel's. If Jordan Hugel plays on Saturday, it will be his 100th game for Rotherham United.
Wow.
Which is, I was shocked when I read that. 15 goals so far in all competitions. Obviously, 4 of those were against children last year in the Virtue Trophy, to be fair. But yeah, that's the landmark we've got for the next one. A couple of stats for you. 11 games without a league win against Wigan, just to cheer you all up. And we haven't beaten Wigan in the 3rd tier since 1990. That
good.
was a 5-1 victory. We've had a couple of championship wins. That's at home, sorry. People will point out a couple of away wins we've had. But that's at home in the 3rd tier. So it's been a little while. So we do owe them in that one. If anyone's put any questions in the comments, we'll try and get through some questions over the next 10 minutes or so. We're going to move on to now some score predictions. I haven't done a league table yet because there's nothing in the league table. As with the first team, we don't look at the table for several games, so no score prediction table just yet, but we're going to keep a record of them. Mick, would you like to give me your score prediction for Saturday afternoon?
Yes, I'm going to remain positive. As soon as you've come to me first, I'm going to revert to the good old 2-1 Rotherham United.
2-1 to the Millers. Still no clean sheet.
Still no clean sheet, unfortunately, because defensively, I don't think we're up to that yet.
Okay, fair enough. Scott, what do you reckon?
This is a head or heart decision, isn't it? To be honest, I just don't think we're quite there at the minute. I don't want to be negative, but I think I'm going to go 2-1 Wigan.
Ooh. Scott's first and last appearance on the podcast. Danny, would you like to make it your last appearance as well? Or
I'm going to go out on a limb, and I think it's not really the perfect time to play each other. So I'm going to say 3-2 to Rotherham. I think there's going to be a right game on our hands here.
We take that. I take that. Joy, what do you reckon?
I don't know whether to go with Danny's optimism, because I thought that as well. But my head's saying, given our record against Wigan, Having said that, the teams that they've beaten are in the bottom 4, aren't they?
Yeah.
The teams we've lost against are in the top 4. So
Top 2, I think.
I know I mean, I know it's nascent league, but I suppose that says something about it. Oh, what shall I do? Oh, 1-1.
1-1. I'm going to go really positive. I'm going to say 3-0.
I hope it is.
I feel like we're at home. If we don't get right at home, we're going to be in for a very, very long season. So I have faith that we're going to do it at home. Sherif's going to pop up with a couple, and we'll all be buzzing for him. He can sing his song at post match after getting a couple of goals. Which would be good for him. IFC OK says 0-0. Phil says 0-1. Tom K 1-1. Fishman said 3-1. Steve Gunner says, I think Steve Gunner means 2-1, not 2-11. I'm going to assume 2-1 there. Harry says 1-0. Jack Holmes in 94th minute. Jimmy Wilkinson says 2-0. YouTube says 3-1 to the Millers. Terry Fenby 2-1 to Hammy's Babes. Steve Gunner says 2-1. Richard 1-1. Paula Rhodes says scrappy 1-0 towards Hugel on his 100th appearance. Josh Caswell says 1-0, 87th minute, Sherif debut. Steve Mixley likes Danny's 3-0. And Steve Adams says 3-0 Sherif hat-trick. Tom K, Wigan and Barnsley next, possibly our 2 biggest bogey teams in League One back-to-back. Neil Richards rightly says, what happened to your predictions about getting somebody else to my predictions? It's a very simple answer to that, Neil. I completely forget every single week. But I'll get back on it next week. I will get back on it next week, getting some family members or something like that to get some predictions in for me. Anything else anybody wants to mention? I know we've gone super early, but again, there's not much because there's lack of transfer activity and everything else. There's not a great deal to talk about. If anybody has anything we want to mention, Harry, sorry, before do we want to break the ref news? I will ruin everybody's evening, especially Mick's. Mick, have you seen who the ref is?
I haven't, no.
Oh, no.
No, it's Oliver Langford.
You are joking.
right, everyone down
You
your
have
ears.
got to be kidding me. Why did you do that after you give me the score predictions? Oh, my life.
Sorry, everybody.
Well, I go back now on my prediction for 2-1 to Rotherham.
Okay.
I thought he retired.
No, but he's a championship referee. The two games he's done so far.
Yeah, exactly. I rest my case.
Yeah, there you go.
He's not a championship referee in any way, shape, or form. He may have refereed in the championship. I'm not a footballer. I've played football, but I'm not a footballer.
Okay.
Nah. Great news. That's made my day. Thank you very much, all of you. I'm going to go and sulk in a corner now.
In the corner of the car park.
Yeah.
Harrison, Keith Stroud's retired. So
I'm fully behind Mick's hatred of Oliver Langford, because now that Keith Stroud has retired, I need someone to hate as a referee now, and it is Oliver Langford.
No, Gavin Ward's next on the list, surely.
No. It's Langford.
There's no hatred from my point of view in any way, but I dislike people who are given top jobs who are not competent enough to perform those roles. And Oliver Langford and Gavin Ward both fit that category very, very well as far as I'm concerned. They've been given jobs that are, I assume, reasonably well paid, and the performances are consistently dreadful. They obviously know how to talk a good job because they certainly don't know how to actually do it.
Okay, fair enough. Josh Casper says he wants to change the prediction to 2-1, 2 pens, one for each team and a potential red card. Yeah, possibly. Although if my memory serves, Langford's a bit of a bottle job, isn't it? He doesn't like giving the big decisions from memory. I'm sure he's not giving us a couple of penalties. I think that's why we hate him, dislike him. We needs to be given that one. Calico said, bet he gives a corner against us for the 8-second rule. Paul was asking anybody going to the game at Millmore next week. I think this is the German team that are coming over. There's a German team that like to play in kind of random places and random stadiums, and there's an amateur German team coming over to play at Millmore, which is quite cool. I advertised an article about that, so check that out because I think you can go. It's a bit of cost to it, but I'm sure you can go there. That sounds good. So now I've upset everybody's evening with referee talk. Is there anything else anybody wants to mention?
I can't believe you've done that. I'm speechless.
If only.
We're so early in season, aren't we? And we've got social media throwing baby out with bathwater straight away as soon as we have some poor performances. And I know and I understand that we were accused of doing exactly the same thing this time last season.
Us.
Which I would argue.
A podcast, never.
I would argue that we probably didn't do. I would argue that yes, there was some criticism of the manager and management team, but in terms of where we felt the season was going to go, we always said, September, October, let's see where we are. And I think that has to be the mantra this season as well. Even more so given the massive changes in personnel and the type of personnel that we brought in. So I think any sort of criticism and comparisons to not just us, but anybody else who's talking about where we are this season at the moment with the way that those people spoke last season, I think they're poles apart, absolutely poles apart. You can remove the context and just say, yeah, well, you didn't say this last season. Yeah, if you remove the context, that's right. But things are very, very different, aren't they? And whilst the performances have been poor in the last 2.5 games, league games, they are comparably poor with some of last season's performances. The context of it is entirely different, in my view.
Yeah, I agree. Just casual thoughts on one shot in 2 away games. We'll talk about more away games next week, Scott, with the Donny game. But the away thing is an issue. But I think the shot thing is weird. It's not. I expected to have shots. I expected to be wasteful, to be honest with you, under Hampshire. I thought it would go the other way rather than not taking shots. And that is something that's got to change. Obviously, you don't shoot, you don't score. So that's got to change, and from Saturday onwards.
Yeah, I think it's all down to the press or the lack of the press that's been there. I mean, that we have had the one half, haven't we, against Port Vale, where we were pressing and we were doing it well. It wasn't just running for the sake of it. It were a well timed press, and we caught them in so much. We caught them in possession so many times, and yeah, I mean, we just seem to be 2 yards off in the last couple of games. I don't know if that's because we've got a young team. We've been away from home. Confidence maybe is a bit not there, but yeah, I kind of thought the same under Hampshire. I expected kind of a lot of crosses coming in, and I suppose that's the thing for Ugal. If we're not going to get the ball in for him, I mean, I'm not that confident he'd be there anyway to score it. But we can't expect him to run through on goal. We need to be kind of playing to his strengths a bit and giving him a bit of a chance. And
yeah, I agree. It just refers to the crosses. I think we're scared of putting balls in the box. And again, Danny, that's weird. Again, that's really weird because again, one of the things you expect, there's going to be a press, going to be this, that, other, but there's going to be crosses in the box from that. I'm sure he's talked about it. So the lack of crosses in the box, because crosses will eventually lead to shots, and it's just odd that that's not happening yet.
No, it is, especially when if you like, playmaker striker in Sam Nombe is out injured. You'd expect more balls going to the box because they suit Hugo's style of play more. But I think it's a weird double-edged sword because we seem quite vulnerable to balls over the top and wide set pieces so far. And maybe there's a bit of a fear of a team going on the break, ball over the top, and then getting in behind and having a shot on target themselves. Maybe that's why we aren't as keen to have a shot ourselves because of the turnover of possession. And that must play in somehow mentally wise to the players. Like we conceded a few against Port Vale, one of which was their goal. We did the same. Stevenage's goal was again a ball over the top. Cardiff killed us on set pieces. I think if Salford were in League One, they would have got one in as well. So it's very much been a not lacking intent to attack. I think it's being scared of dealing with the defensive side of it or being caught out defensively. And I think that's the thing that needs to change. You need to sort your own house out in defence before you can go and upheaval someone else's house. So yeah, it's a weird double-edged sword to deal with. I think we do have the players to do that, don't get me wrong. We just haven't put the right pieces together to do it yet. And as soon as we do, I do think we'll see more desire to press and attack and get balls into the box. When Nombe comes back, that'll be a big boost as well. Not to sound like the broken record, but it's one of those where it does need time. Let's revisit it end of September, October time. If we're still experiencing the same issues, then it's a tactical issue. But if the players can get their heads around it and learn how to effectively deal with it with the squad that we've got, then it'll just get better. But when it doesn't get better, that's when it starts becoming a tactical thing or a selection thing, etc., etc., etc. So I'm fully in the mindset of play it by ear. We're not even out of August yet. The season only started at the start of this month. We've got a lot of football to play yet, both competitively and in the cups. So we'll see what happens with it, but it's not gone unnoticed. I think that's the main takeaway from it.
Yeah. I've got Shoes' game and Wigan played lots of balls over the top on the break. I can't see us playing too high a line. If you've got Raggett and Rafa as your back three, you can't play too high with those two. You can't. That is footballing suicide if you do that. But we'll see.
It's all right talking about getting balls into the box, but we all seem to be missing the point here. The key word within that phrase of getting balls into the box is the word ball. You've got to have that before you can do it. You can get them in box. If you haven't got the ball and you're not maintaining possession of it, you can't get it in box. I know that's stating the obvious, but you've got to get yourself in a position with the ball to be able to do that, and we've not been doing that, and that's been the issue, I think. As much as anything
what we're saying
else.
is there's loads of problems. Is that
No, I don't. No, I don't think there are. I don't think there are. I think the fundamental issue here is the giving the ball away too cheaply, and we're giving the ball away too cheaply because there's not enough movement. There's not enough options for players who've got the ball or are in possession of the ball. Often the only option is to go backwards, and we seem to not really want to explore anything else. It just ends up going long, and Hugo holds it up for 10 minutes, by which time everybody's back and the moment's past kind of thing. So ball retention, I know I'm banging on it. It's obviously my thing this week, and it'll be something else next that I've set my mind on. But, just keep the ball for God's sake. Don't give it away so much.
Yeah. Fair. Are you still happy? Are you still looking forward to going to the game, Joy? You're not. The season's not got to the stage where we're worn down. I'm still looking forward to going to the game Saturday. If that makes sense.
Well, I'm not coming, so.
It's a bit of
a schlep for me, isn't it? From Deal.
Yeah, and it's on Sky.
Yes, and it's an early kickoff as well. I'd have to set off at a ridiculous hour in the morning to get there for 12:30.
I'll rephrase it. Are you still looking forward to watching the game on Saturday then, Joy?
Well, yes. I'm interested to see the team that we put out and the performance that we put in, given that it's only our second home game. Because like we've said, the only time we've turned up so far this season was for that 35 minutes against Port Vale. Now, if we can get, something like that instilled into the group, then yes, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And I think we should be, what's the word? Cautiously optimistic about playing Wigan, because they're not pulling any trees up either. So, yeah, even though I've gone 1-1, that's my head talking, not my heart. But I will say I am looking forward to seeing him, because there's part of it, like we said, we've got these young guys coming in. We want to see what they can deliver. If they all click, it could be something really, really, really good.
Yeah,
I don't think it might happen against Wigan, but hopefully at some point in the next month or so, it will click.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Tom Case said it feels like months since we last played at home. Yeah, the start to the season feels like it's all been away from home. I know we've had a game postponed, which doesn't help, but it does feel football just feels really far away at the minute. Obviously, that'll change on Saturday. If you want to find out a bit more Wigan and their away blues that they have at the minute, that's on. If you stay on the screen, it'll redirect you at the end because we put a clever thing in place to redirect you to the next episode at 9:00. So that's the Scout Report. If you watch it later on, go onto YouTube. That is from Barry from Progress with Unity podcast. And Barry's always good to listen to be fair. Talks about Joe Humbo being a revelation at left wing back.
No way.
I know.
No way were you a good player. It was rubbish. No way were you a good player.
So, yeah, we will be back. Go on.
Didn't even start for us, did he?
Once, I think.
Got took off. Rubbish.
Anyway.
I thought we were having a passive-aggressive episode. You started it, Matt.
I don't know what you're talking about. We will be back. Obviously, the Sky Report, which is out, like I said, it's out. It will be out in a few minutes' time. We'll also should be back on Saturday evening for the for the instant reaction, which will be outside the stadium, in theory. And we'll also then be back Sunday evening, which will be a full review of this one, and we'll have a quick look ahead to the Carabao Cup South Yorkshire Derby next Tuesday. If you haven't already and you want to join, want to be part of this, make sure you subscribe over on YouTube or wherever you're watching on X, so you can see people are. Follow us on there. Give the video a thumbs up as well if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify. Like, subscribe, follow, whatever thing allows you to do. Please do so on there. Thank you, Mick. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Joy. It's been good fun. We will see everybody next time. And once I can find the buttons, we will see everybody next time. As always, up the Millers.
Up Millers.
Up the middle.
Comes for more. 2 for Jensen, 2 for Rotherham. Shoots. Ravel. Vicious, but brilliant. The sweetest feeling for Rotherham United. What's got round the back? And Richard Wood has done it again. It's done. It's Georgie Kelly.
Do me a favor, drop me off.